So, you found yourself 15 kilos up on your previous low body weight, feeling a bit soft, and you're already thinking to yourself, is it time? Even though you only wrapped up your last dieting phase 6 months ago. I know, because trust me, every single gaining phase I used to execute ended exactly this way. I'd start lean, motivated, excited to grow, and then within a few short months, I'd gain too much body fat, start feeling uncomfortable in my own skin, lose the abs, dislike what I saw in the mirror, and pull the plug far earlier than I should have. But after nearly 10 years of training, something finally changed. Over the last 3 years, I managed to navigate my first truly successful growth phase without things spiraling into another dirty bulk, excessive fat gain, or another premature cut. And in this video, I'm gonna break down exactly what I did differently so you can avoid wasting years spinning your wheels exactly like I did. So the first thing you're gonna wanna consider here is your starting point. You need to be lean enough that you're comfortable putting on at least 10 pounds of body weight. If you're not, you probably need to diet more. You want to be lean enough that you can comfortably spend a long period of time in a surplus, driving up body weight slowly and steadily, because making transformative physique progress as a natural takes a long time. Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither was a genuinely impressive physique. We all want to look like the big, lean, 80-kilo guy, but in order to actually build a physique like that naturally, it requires time. Time spent training hard, recovering, and making sure that you're staying within a productive surplus. One thing I'd also recommend when it comes to assessing that starting point is borrowing a second set of eyes, whether that be your coach, a training partner, or just someone whose opinion you trust, because external feedback helps massively. If you want a free physique assessment so that I can roadmap out exactly the steps you need to take in order to maximize your next gaining phase, I'm making this completely free for the next 20 people. Just click the link in the description below. You'll get a full video response from myself, so I can take all the thinking out of this for you to save you all the hassle of trying to figure this out for yourself. Next up, the gradual surplus. We are not slamming oven pizzas, drinking chocolate milk, and dirty bulking our way through this phase. That's a surefire way to end up at the end of the road a lot sooner than we need to, and speed run your way to your next dieting phase. Not to mention, you'll probably also feel like absolute crap eating like this. Again, I know, I've been there. And when I say a gradual surplus, I really do mean gradual. Slow, mate. We're talking 150 to 200 calories maximum above your maintenance. And honestly, if a week goes by and your body weight average hasn't really moved, congratulations, you probably spent a week in a very productive surplus, recovering well, training well in the gym, hitting PBs, and keeping fat gain to a minimum. Because muscle growth as a natural is painfully slow. You do not want to see the scales flying up by a kilo per week. Unless you're enhanced, the overwhelming majority of that weight is going to be body fat. Your number one objective in any gaining phase should be staying within that phase for as long as possible. Try to detach emotionally from the speed of scale weight gain. As long as performance is improving, you feel good, and body weight is trending upwards slowly over time, then you're on to a winner. Personally, I'd shoot for anywhere between 0.3 to 0.75 kilos per month if I wanted to optimize my progress and keep fat gain to a minimum. The third one is a massive one for me personally, and that is food quality and digestion. Because if I'm honest, lads, I do enjoy eating out. I enjoy the occasional off-plan meal, a meal with the girlfriend or partner, or just out with the boys. It is important, and I think valuable, to make sure that you allow for these things within a productive growing phase. You shouldn't feel like you have to isolate yourself from normal life just because you care about making progress with your physique. But you do need to be mature enough to know when enough is enough. For me, the real progress started happening this time round because I stopped treating the off season as if it was a free-for-all. I still enjoyed myself, still had the meals out, but the difference was that I kept it controlled, usually once a week at most, because to be honest, half the time after you have a meal out anyway, you just don't feel the best. For me, I kept these usually to a Saturday evening so that the food was digested well in advance of my session on a Sunday. One of the other big changes I made this time around was that I cut out a lot of the fitness processed foods, protein pancakes, protein bars, and replaced those with whole foods Protein source, carb source, some healthy fats, seasoning, sauce, job done. When you consistently eat that way, not only do you benefit in terms of digestion, cognition, and just how you feel day to day, but you also look a lot better as well. And ultimately, that's gonna pay out big time when it comes to your progression in the long run. Next up, and this is another massive one, is the importance of detaching from the scales and adopting a longer term mindset. One thing I've really come to understand through my years within fitness, bodybuilding, and just physique development in general is that the process of gaining muscle naturally, it is pretty slow. You're not gonna make transformative progress to your physique within a period of 6 months. That sadly is just not how things work. I hear it all the time. Lads will say they're gonna bulk until summer and then they end up firing on 10 kilos within the space of 5 to 6 months. And while timeline-wise, that might make sense, ultimately, the vast majority of that weight is gonna be body fat that they need to diet off later anyway. The way I look at muscle growth now is very similar to compound interest. The results compound over time. You're not gonna make more progress suddenly as a result of one unbelievable gym session or the next one, but one good session followed by another and another and another over weeks, months, and years. That's what contributes to the formation of a truly incredible physique. Funnily enough, I used to completely misunderstand this myself. I'd have an unreal leg session and then convince myself on the way home that I needed a Chinese takeaway because I needed the food to recover from the session. That, sadly, is just not how this all works. In reality, I was just getting fat faster. The best progress you'll make within any gaining phase will come from keeping the surplus controlled, staying patient, and staying consistent within that surplus for as long as possible. You will also need to detach from the scales a little bit though and accept that staying shredded year round is probably not going to be the most conducive to your goals when it comes to progressing in the gym or even feeling your best. So if there's one thing I want you to take away from this section, it's this. The longer you can stay within a calorie surplus, the more muscle ultimately you're going to build. The final one is going to be accountability, and honestly I can't overstate how valuable it can be having someone in your corner who understands where you're trying to get to and has experience leading people to that destination. Because as humans, we're terrible at making decisions for ourselves at times. We act emotionally, impulsively, and our entire mindset can shift based on how we feel on a random Tuesday morning. And in my opinion, inconsistency is one of the biggest killers of progress. And honestly, half the value comes from simply sticking to plan. If I had £1 for every time I considered ordering takeaway and then remembered that my coach was gonna see my check-in photos the next morning, I'd probably be retired by now. That level of accountability genuinely matters. A lot of people hire a coach for a diet or a photo shoot, competition prep, and then sack them off the second they get lean or they finish off their season, thinking they can handle the off-season themselves. However, more often than not, they end up right back where they started. Having a coach for me during this last off-season has been invaluable in making sure that I don't take the piss and I stick to working towards goals that I actually care about. So ultimately, the biggest thing I've learned over the last couple of years is that successful gaining phases are rarely built through extremes. Not dirty bulking, not trying to gain 10 kilos within 4 months. It's simply a case of trusting the process and remaining consistent long enough for it to actually work. Building an impressive physique naturally really is just a case of a lot of good decisions repeated over a very long period of time. And honestly, when I stopped treating the off-season as an excuse to just lose the run on myself, that's when I started to make the best progress of my life. Over the last 3 years, I only spent around 20 weeks within that time period dieting, which means the overwhelming majority of that time was spent in a productive growing phase. Not spinning my wheels, constantly mini cutting or bouncing between extremes, just focused on productive training, recovering well, all while enjoying the process. So hopefully you found this video useful and it may help some of you avoid some of the mistakes that kept me stuck for years. And And if you're someone who feels like you maybe don't know where to go next when it comes to your nutrition, training progress, or your physique development, then coaching is obviously something that I do offer. But regardless of whether you choose to work with me, someone else, or go it totally alone, the main thing is that you stay patient and consistent enough for the process to actually work. So anyway, lads, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please drop a like. I would very much appreciate it. Subscribe if you're new here, and I'll catch you on the next one.